I've said, I'm really very keen that when people read it, they can enjoy the guessing game a little bit, but I'm very sure that there is no track or no character story which from start to finish resembles any character. So I've been very conscious of that while writing.
So who is your favorite character in the film, in the book?
My favorite character has to be Simran.
Why?
As I said, because it's so difficult to pick yourself up after being rejected. It's easier said than done. I think there are millions of self-help books which teach you how to cope, because that's the most difficult part for any human being, to pick your pieces up again and stand. And when you have to pick up your pieces in front of the media glare, which can be very harsh, I think that's a huge challenge. So Simran is my hero.
So why does it happen that a woman identifies with the wife but she does not identify with the other woman?
Very difficult question. This is the most difficult question. I think I do identify with Sia also in this book. I had to, in my 15 years of writing stories for all sorts of medium, I had to learn not to be very judgmental, because if I can't put myself in the shoes of another person and I keep judging whether that person is right or wrong, then I'll never write a good story. So when it was needed, I tried to feel like Sia too. Maybe that's come through well, maybe Simran has come through a little better, but I'm every woman, I have to be.
Yeah, but your sympathies are with Simran more than they are with Sia.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So, will you be ever able to write, maybe there is not that in your life there is something like that happen, but because one really, one is a married woman, it reminds me of a movie called Arth,
right.
Mahesh Bhatt's Arth. So, will you be ever writing a novel if your publisher asked to write it from another woman's point of view and make her the heroine of your novel?
I'd love to. Throw me the challenge. I'd love to, because I'd be able to do all the things which I haven't been able to do so far. I'll do it vicariously.
So the other woman has to be beautiful, other woman can't be ugly, she can't be older than the wife. Suppose she's not sexually threatening to the wife, is that alright then?
For whom?
For the wife?
No, it's not. In fact, I remember reading a survey that for a man, if his wife is sexually unfaithful, it's a bigger hit, it's a bigger hurt. And while for a woman, if the man is emotionally involved with the woman, it's a bigger hit than if he has a one-night stand with her. And I completely understand that.
You understand one-night stands? Okay.
Of course I understand that.
That's nice to hear that. That's very refreshing to hear that. So,
do I have the chance to ask you a few uncomfortable questions?
I am not the author. So, how much time did you take to write this book?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the plot already with you?
I had half the plot with me.
Which half of that?
The half about the breakup and what the woman goes through, but the latter half of what she does was not with me. So that's what I needed to work on.
Okay, so at this point, let's have a look at the audiovisual that we have made, that they have made about this. May we have the lights? Can we shut the lights, please?
Paging for the maintenance to kindly dim the lights.
Firoza. First of all, I must acknowledge the presence of my friends Firoz Abbas Khan and Amit Khanna. They are more than friends, play a very important role in our lives, and some more people are there. So Gajra, since you have made an audio visual, do you see this as a film?
Yes, I'd love this to be a film. If someone from the film industry is gutsy enough to not think that this is a sensational piece of work, but deserves to be told as a story.
What is your ideal cast? If you were to give a choice that, okay, these are the people you want for the 3 different roles. Have you given a thought to it?
I keep imagining Vidya Balan as my Simran, but I haven't been able to give enough importance to Raj and Sia.
That's not fair. Yeah. You're making it very obvious that the story is only of Simran. So who do you think will be Raj?
Raj. I'd love Farhan Akhtar to be Raj.
And Sia can be anybody.
Anybody.
Any particular director you think you would want him to tackle the film?
I would love someone like Feroz Abbas Khan, to direct the film, because I think the way he handles relationships, whatever I've seen of his plays, is mind blowing.
Wonderful.
So I'd love it if he could direct this film.
Were you? Did you give your first draft to read? Was it Sailesh or any of your children?
It was Sailesh.
What was his first comment on your first draft?
Once again, you're writing about women. Why don't you write something else?
Why don't you write about him, you mean to say?
That was his first comment, but seriously, he believed in the story a lot, and he didn't understand a few points, a few takes of certain characters at times, but I think by now he's given up on my argumentative capacities, so he just lets it be.
Also, Balika Badhu is about the liberation of a child girl turning into something.
Yes. Somehow it veers towards my take on stories veers towards women finding strength, and I'm really quite unapologetic about it, because one thing is that in all the stories that I work on, the women's relationships are very important. I've never advocated something like a woman being successful without being happy, without having a complete set of relationships which also define her just as they define a man.
Okay, I got it. Would you like to read out some passage?
I would like to ask you one question.
Okay.
While writing this book, I think what kept hitting me again and again was how much more complex an actor's personal life becomes, his relationships become, because of the media glare. Does it affect your personal relationships in a detrimental way, or perhaps even in a positive way? You have been an actor for decades, but you're very grounded, you're very real. You make an effort to be in touch with real people. It's across the board, that is what people feel about you. But has this ever affected your life? And if so, how have you dealt with it?
It does affect your life. It does make you feel sad, angry, betrayed. But then I will rather feel sad, angry and betrayed and not be a film actor than be a film actor.
Okay.
You see, so it's okay, it's part of profession. You deal with it. It's not only, in today's time, it's not only with film people, it's with sports people, politicians, intellectuals, because media thrives on negativity, because that negativity is news, positivity is no news. So over a period of time, you get used to it. You never stop feeling hurt, never stop getting angry, never stop being betrayed, but you learn to deal with it in a little more maturer manner. But every time something is written, every time something is published about you or spoken about you, and if it is not the truth, it does hurt you, it does affect you.
But do you ever feel like retaliating and using the same media to
there's so much other important things to do than to retaliate.
Great.
There is so much to do in life, there is so much creative to do in life, there is so much happening in your life. Also at the end of it, after a few years you discover there are 4 or 5 people around you, whether they are your family or that your friends, whose opinions matter.
Right.
And news is just 24 hours, not even 24, 12 hours a day, which is important. I don't remember what was yesterday's news. We have about more than 20. We have about more than 20 channels, news channels, which are very popular or known. Every 20 minutes there is a breaking news on all the channels, and every breaking news is about something which has gone wrong. But you don't remember it. So I think public memory is very short. I have my own Twitter handle where I keep clarifying and keep saying my own things. So thank God for social media. You can use it for constructive things also.
Great, superb.
Anything else you want to ask me? Any more?
No.
Okay.
I will not push the envelope.
Okay, so let's have a reading of one of your chapters or whatever you want to read.
To Raj, being with Sia was blissful, and that completely shatters their entire understanding of what has gone wrong. So a simple point like this, which is at every step of the way, I think the media glare is what makes the difference and what makes the story a little different from setting it in another industry.
Gachra, one question. How different is it writing scripts for television series and also being so descriptive and very clear and vivid, bringing alive the story as a writer, that is as an author?
At the end of the day, it's about telling a story. However, writing for television is teamwork. There are many visions which collate to one central vision, and it's a great process because you're learning from each other all the time. However, I believe it is important for every writer to have the ability to be alone and to create, to challenge yourself to write without any other vision helping you out. So it's a much more lonely process, but it's a challenging process, and it keeps you confident about the fact that your own skills as an individual writer are still alive and they're working.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Anju.
Hello, Gajraji. So, as we know that you have been writing daily soaps as well, television shows, which is a constant process. So, I really want to know how could you manage to write a complete book like this with so well etched out characters at the same time. At the same time, it's actually a compliment also that I would want to give you, that you could manage that, of course. So, if you can tell me how much time did it take for you to complete the book?
I took about 1.5 years to write this book. I was very clear about the characters. It was not much of a struggle. My first novel was a big struggle. It took me more than 3 years, and I did not understand the craft of writing a novel as well as perhaps I've understood the second time around. So the craft part was easier. I just love writing books because that me time, to me it's me time. And my kids have grown up, so if I interfere too much in their lives, they don't like it. So I need to occupy myself beyond television writing also. I tried to do it and I just find it makes me terribly happy. So it's not a burden at all. It's not a superwoman act at all.
Hello ma'am, good evening sir. First of all, congratulations a lot ma'am for this book launch.
Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Kuldeep.
Kuldeep.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask that how do we get that confidence while writing that whatever I have written, it will be sold or published or like it will get the masses in?
I don't have the confidence. I don't think any writer can guarantee whether a TV serial will be successful and get in TRPs or a book will sell enough. We do our best. And we hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst also.
Shall we have the audio visual, please?
We have the AV, yes. We'll roll that for the
Please don't
benefit.
shut any lights.
We are not too confident of the power supply. But for the moment, those of you who just walked in and joined us here for the book launch, we'd like to draw your attention. We are looking at the star, Once Upon a Star, and we have a very special guest. But right now, let's look at the big screen and catch a glimpse of the trailer.
Raj Mehra is the king of Bollywood. He is a cinematic legend in the making. The image of a perfect family man. Raj is the center of attention wherever he goes, and he revels in the love and adoration of his fans, his family, and, of course, Sia. Sia is a young and upcoming star, and Raj's latest flame. She yearns for his love and acceptance. But read how the Raj, Simran and Sia triangle unfolds under the merciless glare of the media in Gajra Kothari's latest novel, Once Upon a Star.
We have the second trailer also, we'll get it rolling.
Kothari's latest novel, Once Upon a Star.
Congratulations and all the very best, Gajra. To deliver the vote of thanks this evening, I'd like to call upon the Senior Commissioning Editor of HarperCollins, Ms. Meenakshi Thakur, to please join us. Lights, please.
Hi. Thank you for coming all the way this evening to be with us. It's been a fairly long association with Gajra, and we're delighted to be publishing you. May there be many more such books, because I truly admire your courage and your energy for things in life. And you don't do just this. This is not just the one thing that you do. You do so many things at once. You have so many hats. That's admirable. And please do buy your copies and get them signed, because this is not just another Bollywood novel. This is a very it's incisive yet sensitive, and it gives you great glimpses into the showbiz. It tells you about the human side of Bollywood. Things happen everywhere like they happen in showbiz, but she's just trying to show you how all of us are flawed in one way or the other, and no one's life is perfect. We just keep fighting and striving until our last breath. So I thank Gajra for publishing with us. I thank Anupamji for being here. You've been fabulous, and you've been with her throughout the journey of this book and even the last one. So I knew you through her all along, and it's great to see you here today. Thank you, Landmark, for hosting us over here. Thank you, Vinay and Hiren at Harper for supporting us all through. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Meenakshi. All the very best to HarperCollins, and just look out for one. And all the very best to the author, Gajra, this evening and for always. Those of you readers who would like to get your copies personalized, shortly after the photo opportunity, we'll be having the signing of the copies. You may join us, do bear with us for some time for the signing of the copies to happen personally.
So, in center, please. Sir, in center. Sir, look here.